plant friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I am going to be showing you some of my favourite plants at the moment. If I had my way I would probably show you every single one of my plants, but I am not in the position to do a houseplant tour today, so I'm just going to show you a few of my plants that are either growing really well or that I'm just really loving at the moment. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so the first plant I want to show you is my Philodendron Florida Ghost. And this is her. I'm so proud of this plant and I really love this plant. It started as the most tiniest tissue culture plant, and there was actually 2 little babies in the pot when I first got it. Like, when I say tiny, it was probably like this big, and now it's this big. But I just love the Philodendron Florida plants in general. I love the colour on their petioles, I love the slightly furriness of their petioles, and I absolutely love the shape of the leaves. And I picked this one to show you because I really like the coloration of this plant. So depending on the light you give them, so the more light you give them, the whiter the leaves are going to come out. So this variegation is quite interesting because the new leaves come out super white, hence the name Florida Ghost, and then they fade down to this sort of minty, mottly, greeny colour, which I really like. And so yeah, so the more light you give them, the whiter the leaves are going to come out. The lower light you give them, the more sort of creamy, neon-y, greeny they're going to come out. But I will try and show you. This plant is so big. But yeah, I really love the mature shaped leaves of the Florida. And if I can show you, so the beautiful red coloured petiole and the slight fuzz on it is really nice. I absolutely love these plants. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favourites at the moment, and it actually just lives down here on the floor, and it gets a little bit of direct light during winter time but no direct light in summertime, and as you can see it is doing really well. It is climbing up a grow pole and you can see all its beautiful roots in there. So yeah, I love this plant so much. Okay, on to the next. Okay, the next plant I want to show you is my Philodendron Fuzzy Petiole, and she is pretty big. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get her all in the frame at once, but what I love about this plant, again, it has the same sort of, well, it's in the name, isn't it? But it has the same sort of really fuzzy petioles, and it has the same sort of red coloration at the top here. And what I really like about this one is the sort of the pillowy leaves. So these are, so these do have sort of like a velvety sort of feel to them, and they have big heart-shaped leaves, but I really like sort of the pillowy effect that these leaves have. And I don't know if you can see, I'll see if I can try and show you, but if you see at the bottom here, you can see how thick the stem was when I first got this plant. So again, it was a tiny tissue culture baby, and then if you look at the top of the pole, whoop, and so if you look at the stem thickness up here, it is really thick. So as it matures, it's obviously going to thicken its stem and, oops, it's caught on the camera, and put out these massive leaves. I really hope you can gauge the size because I don't think the whole thing is going to fit in frame. But yeah, this is my Philodendron Fuzzy Petiole. I highly recommend. I actually don't see these plants much on social media or YouTube. Yeah, I just don't think that they're that popular or that common. I don't know, but I really love it, and this plant has become one of my absolute favourite plants. It definitely needs a pole extension, so I'll have to do that sometime soon. But yeah, it is growing really well, super easy care. There's no additional humidity in this room. obviously just grouping all these plants together helps create some ambient humidity, and I do feed all my plants quite regularly. I can never say that word. Quite regularly. Regularly. I feed my plants quite regularly, so not every single water like I used to, but sort of every second to third watering if I remember, otherwise it usually is every watering. Okay, the next plant I want to show you needs no introduction. You can see her slightly off camera in the background here, and I won't actually be able to lift this plant up too high because it has a big grow stake, has a big stake in it supporting it, so I will see how well I can lift her up to show you. Okay, hang on, I think the courier's here. Whew, okay, I'm pumped. But this here is my Monstera Escaleto, and this is probably my favorite plant in my whole entire collection. So this is what she looks like. This plant is on 2 big grow poles, and this actually started off as a single leaf cutting, and it was a very small single leaf cutting, and I am very, very impressed with how this plant has grown. It is definitely my favorite plant that I've ever grown. If you don't know by now, I love myself some fenestrated leaves, and when I can get fenestrated leaves that are this massive, you best be knowing that I am going to absolutely love it. So yeah, this plant is wild to me. I can't lift it up any higher because it's hitting the roof, but you can sort of see. I really hope you can gauge the size of this plant, because it's really hard to see how big plants are unless you see them in person, but this is its newest leaf that it is putting out. It is still growing and hardening off. I cannot wait to see how that one goes, but I will need to extend the pole yet again at some stage and maybe just train these leaves back a little bit. But yeah, super easy care. It is a thirsty plant and a hungry plant, so I do feed this one regularly and have to water it quite frequently, although I did just repot it into a 23 centimeter pot, so it's in quite a big pot, and it seems to stay a bit more moist for longer, which is really good. Highly recommend these plants if you have the room to grow them, because they are just so cool. Absolutely love them, highly recommend, and yeah, they're quite easy to look after. Okay, another plant I am loving at the moment is actually one of my Anthurium. Well, I'm actually really loving all of my Anthurium at the moment, but I thought I would show you this one in particular. So this is Anthurium Noctune, and it is a New Zealand made hybrid. This is the newest leaf, and like, it is perfect. It is so pretty. They sort of fade down to this greeny color. I really like the fact that they have quite minimal veining, but I really like the shape of these Anthurium, and it is still in a pretty small pot. So this is a 10 centimeter squared pot, and I just have it hanging up in my grow tent, which is why it's sort of growing like that, because that is how it that's how it's hung up. But yeah, absolutely stunning plant. Really love the velvety sheen. So far it's been really easy, and it has sized up so quickly. So like, this was sort of the size of the leaves when I got it, and now you can see that this is the size of the leaf. So yeah, again, I feed these plants quite regularly, and they do live in my grow tent, so they have a lot higher humidity, and it is a little bit warmer in there, but again, it's not heated, and I don't have any supplementary humidity. It's all just ambient humidity. And I feed these guys quite regularly, and I have to water them quite regularly as well, because they do dry out quite quickly in the tent. You can see all its beautiful lovely roots in there. These plants are growing really great, and actually my Queen Anthurium has a new leaf, and it's sort of getting that more mature shape leaf, so it's coming out of the juvenile leaves to the nice mature shape leaf, which is really exciting. I was going to bring it in too, but this video would just go on and on if I showed you all my plants, so I have one more to show you, and then that'll do for this one. So on to the next. Okay, the last plant I want to show you on today's favorites list is none other than the Monstera Elbow. I have always loved these plants and I think they will always be in my favorites plants because they are just so beautiful. They're so beautiful. They're actually really easy to grow. They actually grow quite quickly, and I do have two of them. I've got one sort of off camera and this one here. This is its newest leaf that it is still putting out and hardening off. Very, very beautiful. I do need to actually fill up the pole with some more fern fiber because it is starting to grow above the substrate, so I need to do that. Maybe I'll do that later today. But yeah, just a beautiful plant, easy care. So I say they're easy care because they're just like a normal Monstera. They just need a little bit more light because they do obviously have some variegation, so they lack the chlorophyll to help produce energy in the white parts. So yeah, they do need a little bit more light so they can photosynthesize properly with all the green that they have. If you can get them, highly recommend. Their prices have dropped so much here in New Zealand. Like plants used to go for thousands and thousands, and now you can pick up a variegated Monstera for a couple of hundred. So yeah, if you can get your hands on one, I highly recommend, even for beginners. Like, dare I say it, these are beginner friendly as long as you don't overwater them and you have them in a really good quality chunky aroid mix with plenty of drainage, which I have this in, and as you can see by its root system, it is very, very healthy and absolutely thriving. So yeah, Monstera Elbow. Highly recommend. Okay guys, I have talked your ear off enough. I think that concludes this video. Let me know in the comment box below which your favorite plant out of the ones I showed you today was. I would love to know. Also let me know what favorites are in your collection and that you are crushing on at the moment. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Hello plant fiend. This is probably